My earthly goddess, hello. Michelle, hi. Oh, Michelle. Yeah, that's my middle name, Michelle. Hello. I was on yesterday. I wasn't planning on coming on again today, but things are changing quickly. So I wanted to hop on and say what's up and hi and give some updates on some things. So there's only a couple people in right now. I'm going to try to wait and allow a couple more people to come in. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments or in the question box, and I will do my best to answer. But I've been getting a lot of inboxes, and I just got like a bunch of people that just came over, and it's really great. And I just wanted to give some info, for free that you don't have to book a consult for. I'm going to do my best to try to give as much information as possible. Hi, Brown Lace. So basically, things are ever changing, right? And our plans and what we're thinking about doing, of course, is affected slightly by what's going on in the world. And so similarly to what I had said yesterday, it's so important that we are clear in our plan and our intent, that we spend the time, that we have getting everything together, laying our plans, doing our research right now. It's so important that we do that. Some people, several people have inboxed me recently and said, okay, it looks like there's going to be a second wave. There's some shutdowns. What are my options? Hi, Anastatics, Moneybag Mama. Hello. Hello, Nicole. Hi. I've been getting messages just right now about like the status on there being some shutdowns with the EU currently not allowing American citizens in. It's a reciprocity thing. The current president of the U.S. had a few months ago banned a large swath of people and countries in the EU from coming in to the U.S. And so it's vice versa. It's the same. So it's more about equality than anything else. Where's your country? Anastatics, where's your country? So, there's going to be a lot of that. And countries are trying to decide when they're going to open their borders, how many people from what countries they're going to allow, all of that. It's all up in the air. But here's the thing that matters, right this very minute. If you are committed to becoming an expat or starting the process, you need to start now. This is an opportunity for you to get all of your ducks in a row, figure out what it is that you need to do, set up a consultation if you feel like you need that. But for some of you that are new and it just came over, I have a little, okay, you're in Texas. I have a little bubble in my bio that has what to do first. And it's just the simple list of the 4 things that you need to do first if you're planning to become an expat. So right now is a really good time to do that, because realistically, most of us aren't in a position to immediately leave like tomorrow. But if you start now, you can be prepared to leave in 6 months possibly, or even 4 months. So I'm just going to kind of briefly go over what those things are. Hi, Mystic Mama. Oh, hi, Nisha. Hello. So I just wanted to briefly go over those things, because this is a really good opportunity for us to, like I said, get back to our plan, right? Or at least start the prep for the plan. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to, from an intuitive place, pick your 4 countries that you're most interested in, just from your gut, not because of any review or anything, just where you're drawn to. Then you're going to write your lifestyle needs list. This is the list of things that you want to experience, the type of lifestyle that you want in the new paradigm of the life that you're building for yourself. It is an act of being a divine creator. After that, you're going to look at 50 to 100 years. Oh, great. You just watched it. Good. You're going to look at 50 to 100 years of history on the 4 countries that you are most drawn to. Why? Because 50 years ago was 1970. And if you look at the U.S. in the last 50 years, that'll tell you a lot. But if you look at it for the last 100, it'll tell you pretty much everything. This is especially important right now to look at the financial framework of the countries that you might be interested in, because they are in flux. So if you look at what it is that they've done in other scenarios when they weren't feeling the most secure or things were in flux, it'll give you a good idea of what you can expect this time around. Because we are going through a global financial shift, a global political shift. So getting into the history is so important, because then you'll know kind of where it's going and you can plan ahead a little bit, right? So you're going to become an expert. After you've done your research, then you're going to go back to your lifestyle needs list and compare. That's going to let you know which countries are the ones that you need to get into your final detailed research. I have a reason and a method to my madness, you guys. I have you do it in this order because you cannot evaluate and decide what your budget is until you know where you're going. You can't know what the housing costs or anything is going to be, because that's what everyone wants to ask. Well, how much money do I need? Rule of thumb, bare minimum, if it's just you, if you are certain that you will have $1,200 to $1,500 a month, you can go to most countries, but not all. So having that list is really important, because after you've done your 100 years of research on each country and you've compared it against your lifestyle needs list, you're going to then break it down to 2 countries. And you're going to take those 2 countries and you're going to do research on the main cities where the consulates are, where the financial hub is, where the affluent live. You want to look at these things because that's going to tell you about the infrastructure, where the infrastructure is and where it isn't. So that when you're looking on Craigslist or you're looking on Airbnb for a place to stay, you'll have a better understanding of what the community layout is. This also includes, like, where are the universities? That matters, where the students are, where the hospitals are. But you only do that after you've narrowed it down from 4 to 2. You can start figuring out what their immigration rules are, because if you do it on 4 countries or 10 countries because you're feeling like you don't know where you want to go, you will burn out with information and you'll miss a lot of the important things. You have to do it in order. This is the great time to start. Okay, so you're going to start there. If you feel like you need help or you feel very overwhelmed with it, you can DM me. If it feels like it's even more than just like basic stuff, you can schedule a consult for relocation services. But if you start on these 4 things, it's going to take you quite far. It's going to take you quite far. Also, if you are curious right now, or if you are in that place where you're thinking about just going on and making the leap, if you're thinking about making the leap right now, a lot of people have been inboxing me in the last 30 minutes or so about how you find if they're allowing for you to come in. Always check the consulate websites. Check the consulate websites of the country that you're thinking about going, because it's changing by the day. I do know that there are certain circumstances where you will be able to get access depending on what you're saying your reason is for coming in. I know that currently, as of yesterday or so, a couple of people have let me know that they were successfully able to enter Mexico. Some other people entered Mexico and they will be chartering a private boat to come down here to Costa Rica where I am. There are options. If you are feeling like you're ready to make a move right now, you're feeling a little pressed, I would suggest that you try your best to take a deep breath and really evaluate your reasons and reach out to me if you feel like you're ready to pull the trigger and you really don't know where to start. I'll do my best to assist you. But we need to be thoughtful, and we need to make sure that we're making choices that are going to benefit us in the long term, and that we are making choices that take into account all of the shifts that are happening. Hello, Edwin. So if anybody had any questions, this would be a really good time to hop on in and ask me. Just another brief update about Costa Rica. Currently, they moved the date back to August 1st to open the borders. They have not specified to what countries they will be allowing incoming flights. Oh, Edwina, hi. I'm not really sure yet. We won't know until right before they choose to open the borders. But they did say August 1st. And it's going to be like that with a lot of countries, you guys. And we just have to be flexible. And we have to try to catch our breath and be as calm as we can about all of this. Lots of things are in flux, but this is the opportunity. It's helping us focus and be clear about what we really want to do. I mentioned this yesterday as well. Here, I am a developer. We have a community that we're building here in Costa Rica and Escazú. And I'm in the process of like ironing out the details with another Black woman developer in the neighboring community about 30 minutes from me. And I am in touch with other community builders. So if that is something that you're interested in, please let me know, get in touch so we can discuss different options. There are also now some job opportunities that I'm lining up. So I'll get more into that when I have more details about it. Connie, hi. You just asked a really good question. Did I travel a lot before relocating? No. To some of you that are new, I actually relocated my whole family the first time at 23 years old. I had only ever gone to the Bahamas once when I was 15 with my grandmother to visit her family because that's where she's from. I didn't visit Brazil or Uruguay before I moved. I just left. I did a lot of research. I lived in Brazil for 5 years. I was in Uruguay for just about 1 year. And because I couldn't afford it. It wasn't in my budget to make a lot of back and forth trips. So I did the best research that I could do, and I organized my thoughts, and then I committed to it. Hi, new people. Connie, I'm assuming you're new. Ria, nice to meet you. Feel free to ask questions. I do my best to keep, I was 23 and I had a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old at the time. And I had never traveled before. I did not speak Spanish and I didn't speak Portuguese, but I learned. I was fluent in Portuguese after about 6 months because I was immersed. You can be surprised by the things that you're capable of. What type of job opportunities are there? Okay, so I am fortunate enough to have built a really good relationship with an employer here. You can actually start doing this work in the States and then come with it when you move here as well. It's a call center job. They pay in US dollars and they will direct deposit to your American bank account. There's not a lot of those opportunities, and this is one of them. So if you are interested and you're serious about relocating, you can work the job in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Colombia, and I think Panama as well. So if you're interested, I believe that the pay starts at $7. And it's not like a ton of money, but it's better than nothing, especially if you're trying to leave immediately. So that is something that I've been working on. There should be some positions opening up also with the Global Black Girl. We just got to meet certain, we're getting there close. We're getting there very quickly, but there will be help that we will need for the community. And I'm always working on employment options for people. How's the skincare industry there? You're a licensed esthetician and you'd like to start a small business. Yes. So I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys, but I was an electrologist in LA. So I did permanent hair removal on people. Skincare is important. It's something that women who can afford it definitely invest in. I don't know what all your skill set is, face waxing and facials. If you started a small business, you're an English speaker, you come and you're able to give yourself a niche, you can do it. There's going to be interest. I know that for myself, I haven't found anybody that I would be comfortable going to. There's room. If you are an entrepreneur and you have an entrepreneurial spirit, you will find your way. $7, my mind says, okay, but my student loans say, oh no. If you have debt that you intend to continue to pay on, you're going to need to include that when you figure out your budget for where you plan to go. You may need to consider moving to countries that are considerably cheaper to live if you plan to continue to pay your loans and any other debt, not everybody pays them. I'm not. If I did, I would not have been able to make this move. So, they'll have to wait until I can get back to them. I'm just keeping it real. If anyone else in here is new, just say hi. I'm new. I don't have any problem at all repeating some of the things. I usually keep these up, but some of them have been deleted and some of them are chit-chatty and I'm talking about all kinds of stuff. So I'm trying to stay on topic with this one. Is there an influx in holistic physicians? You know what? There is definitely a need. There's a need for them. There's a few, but not nearly enough. And there is a good deal of Canadian and American retirees who would definitely be looking for those services. And then, of course, locals as well. Most Costa Ricans of the middle class to upper class speak English and have an appreciation for professionals that come from the States. A lot of times they even will go to Miami to get services and they come back here because it's only an hour and a half flight from Miami. And I believe it's 2 hours from Texas to get here. Oh, thank you. I'm trying. I really am, Elle Summers. I'm doing my best. I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed. I don't want you to lose sight or feel like this is impossible. It took me 3 years, and the first step, I had to leave Los Angeles. I used my little $5,000 that I had that my dad gave me to finish school because my parents didn't pay for me to go to college. I did it by myself. I was working and paying for school. And my dad came into a little bit of money and he said, I have $5,000 for you. What do you want to do with it? And I actually said, you know what? I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with my 2 kids and my ex-husband, and I was miserable. And I said, you know what, Dad, I'm going to look for a house to buy. So we bought a house in Texas. The reason why was so that we would have the possibility of buying something that was cheaper so we could sell it for more so we could leave. So it was a multi-step process for me to get out. But I was undeterred and I was focused. It wasn't overnight. It took me 3 years, 3.5 to do it. So, if you're focused and you're committed, you have to be committed to yourself and you have to be disciplined. But if you can do those things, you will make it out. You will get where, hi, you will make it. You just have to be consistent, and I'm going to do everything I can to try to help. So right now, not every place on earth won't let you fly there. So if you're thinking about getting on a plane and going somewhere, there's still some options. But now between the end of the year, a lot is going to change. So we got to be really committed and really get on our shit. If you're serious, now's the time. Do I ever get homesick? Yeah, I get homesick for the food and for pulling up next to a car, listening to the same old school song that I'm listening to, and I miss being around my people. I miss my culture. I do. I miss those things. However, and this is something that I mean wholeheartedly, I don't feel that my ancestors lost their lives, lost their freedom, were stripped of their, humanity. I don't believe that they went through all of that for me to not feel comfortable exercising my autonomy. I believe that they went through all of that so that we would be in a position to exercise autonomy about where we are and where we invest. In the meantime, while we're waiting to get back out what we're owed from the States, we're still investing in it. You're still paying taxes. You're still living in the space. You're still being employed by their companies. So they're still getting the benefit of your body while being there. And I chose to remove mine. Definitely check to see what borders are open, because damn, you checked and nobody's having it right now. But stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. Things are ever changing. If you are ready to make a move to pull the trigger, because I have some people that, have told me, find somewhere for me to go, and I'm going to go. There will be no normal international travel. Yes, it's going to be all over the place. If you're considering it, if you're really thinking about it, then now is the time. I've said this, I will continue to. I will probably be putting this on a t-shirt, like no bullshit, within the next week or two, because I say it so much. To naysayers and to people who will try to dissuade you. Racism is everywhere. Racism is everywhere, but it's not deadly everywhere. Racism is everywhere, but it will not kill you everywhere. Racism can kill you and does and has been all through the US, Canada, and in Europe for a really long time. In Australia for a really long time. And it's not like that everywhere. And so for me, while I still deal with racism, I'm not fearful of losing my life. And so I just wanted to be clear about that distinction. I think somebody had asked about, did I miss a question? Yeah, do I get homesick? And I definitely miss the food. I miss the food. I miss the food. Oh my God, I miss the food. That's for certain. But, other than that, but seriously, any questions, especially to newbies and people who have just joined or just coming over, I thank you for taking the time. Hopefully the information that I share will be useful and helpful to you. And I found it necessary to get on because people were even asking about like booking time for relocation to ask like one question, and it was the same question. So I just wanted to go on and address it. Yes, Costco is PriceSmart here in Escazú, and they're all over the country. So you can bulk buy at PriceSmart. It's a membership just like Costco. So that was a good question. There are import grocery stores. There's more expensive grocery stores where you can get Cheez-Its and imported goods, but it's expensive. I want Thai food. I want Thai food. I want Thai food. What is my view on the educational system where I am? So since we're not residents, our children were attending private school. But now, since all of this has happened, they're doing online U.S.-based school. The private school options here, most of them offer U.S. High school diplomas and national diplomas. Good quality, but just like with everything else, it depends on where you live, right? So even in the public schools, they teach English. I'd say that the majority of educated, air quotes, ticos, which is what they call themselves. Costa Ricans call themselves ticos or ticas. Their public school is a lot better than what other places that I've been. Like, their public school is way better than Brazil. Brazil schools, and anyone who's thinking about Brazil, I will just bottom line, I'd say no, please don't do it. Not right now, and not for probably a while. Not for a while. I lived there for 5 years solid in Bahia in the north. I lived in Ilhéus and in Salvador, and I would tell you no. Yes, I'm in Escazú. San Jose is the main city, and Escazú is a canton. I would, oh my God, I want Thai food. And you know what else I really want? I want hot dog on a stick lemonade.
Sorry about that, sir.
Oh my God. Hot dog on a stick lemonade and pastrami. Life insurance, yeah, you can, more often than not, you can get a policy there in the States and let them know that you will be abroad and you can get coverage. There's a great deal of retirees here that have life insurance and health insurance policies and things like that. Blue Cross Blue Shield also operates here, but there are other health insurance, private health insurance options as well, or you can just pay out of pocket. It's not nearly as much as you would think. Connie, it is my pleasure. It's literally what I realized I was supposed to do. So I'm doing this to walk in my calling, truly. I do international relocation. My focus is on people of African descent, getting us out of the colonial powers and into small group communities where we can support each other. That's my goal. I also do spiritual readings and spirit work because it's all connected. In order to hear your small voice, you got to know who you really are and what you really want. And that's hard to do if you don't know how you feel. In 2015, you were meant to do some volunteering, but it was a scam. Yeah, that happened. Oh, so someone asked about Whole Foods. Good question. You don't need Whole Foods because you can just go to the fair on Saturday and Sunday and buy directly from the farmers. You can get fruits and vegetables with dirt on it. It's wonderful and it's super cheap. Super cheap. We live in a farming community, so yeah, there's an organic market. Here, I would think, I mean, generally speaking, and this will be a conversation for another day, but there's organic and then there's like heirloom. The land here is very, very robust. And so you're eating food that has more nutritional density. Yeah, we go on the weekends. I think I shared a video, but I will. I'll share another video so you guys can see what the fair looks like. Were there any more questions? Stay the course, though. Don't allow anything to deter you or make you feel like you're not going to be able to make it. Pull your resources. We have these forums and these places. I have the Patreon set up. It's the Global Black Girl. And I do these lives so that we can get to know each other and we can have these conversations. We need to go in small groups. Look at the model. You can find Chinese people anywhere on earth. You can find Indian people anywhere on earth. You can go anywhere and find these groups of people because they move with small. In Brazil, in Sao Paulo, you have one of the largest populations of Chinese people because they move in groups and communities. We have just as much of a right to do that. We have to work together. We have to learn to trust each other, and we have to understand that we are not at all abandoning the desires of our ancestors. Now, not everybody wants to leave, and that's fine. You don't have to want to leave. But we need to respect each other's rights to determine their own path and not do it from a place of guilt and obligation. Interior design. You know, the thing about being an entrepreneur is that you create your niche. And I believe that you can. Thinking about your lifestyle. So that lifestyle needs list, all of it. Think about what you will do from the time you wake up, all the things that you need to buy or not buy, the people that you plan on interacting with, all of it, what you want to do to make money if you need to make money. Here's something that I wanted to kind of get into because someone asked me, well, like, what makes what you do different than what other people are doing? Well, for one, I'm not approaching the idea of being a Black expat from the perspective of a retiree. Because when I left the first time, I didn't have an income. And when I left this time, I didn't have an income. I always look at it from that perspective because that's who I'm speaking to, right? So looking at it from that perspective, you absolutely need to spend a little bit more time than someone who has a fixed income and really doesn't care either way. You have to know a little bit more. How were your kids able to adjust to the new environment? Was a difficult transition. The thing about children, and it depends on your relationship with your kids, of course. However, oh, you didn't see the option for readings? Go to right now on Instagram. Hit the book now. You should see all of them. There's like 4 different ones. If you don't see it, DM me and I'll help you with that. Hi, Inspector Costa. So I'm sorry. You were asking, the kids. So before we left, I've been talking to my kids about why we left. When they were little, there wasn't anything to discuss, of course. But then leaving again, and I came, it was different, and the kids were all older. So we discussed with them about what life was like. Look up in the sky. They're spraying. Look around you. We wanted them to understand that we were offering them a better life. We had a lot of discussions about how they would feel, emotional preparation. That's part of the reason why I do the spirit work, because we are layered and we are unlearning a lot and we are decolonizing our minds in so many aspects. It's really important that we're considerate of all of it. So if you are planning to do this in the future, start having the conversations with your children about the history, about what their people have been suffering through, about what you're trying to accomplish and the type of life that you deserve to have. Not all kids will understand. My oldest son is still in Los Angeles. He's with my parents who also don't understand. But the rest of my children are here. You know, it's really important, but that's a good question. They love it. The ones that are here absolutely love their life, and they would never come back. People ask them, do you like it? Do you miss LA? They're like, we're in a home that we love. We have peace. We are unbothered. When I go out in the world, I'm not worried. I've had interaction with police and government officials, and I never felt threatened, not once. Oh, not everybody is meant to have their hands in the dirt. There's room for all of us. We all have our own skill sets. There's room for the artist. There's room for the person who's done bookkeeping forever. There's room. And we also need to be flexible, because to join a community and be, like you said, useful and asset, it's time to reevaluate how we view ourselves and what we have to offer as well. I know there's a learning curve. What skills should we have before you come? What skill? Oh, yes, they are more than 30 minutes. Are the readings more than 30 minutes? Yes, they are. Yeah, go through the book link. Go through the book link in my bio on Instagram, and it'll take you right there, and you'll see everything. Was it expensive to move? Very good question, Red Gold. Are you new? If you're new, say, hey, I'm new. So was it expensive? What I decided, and compared to the first time. So when I left the first time, I didn't buy property. We immigrated on a investor visa, and we had a lump sum of money, and we were renting. For 5 years, we were renting place to place to place. We moved 7 times in 5 years. That was very, very hard. So this time coming to Costa Rica, so that was Brazil. So coming to Costa Rica, I understood that part of what was going to help me, right, because we all have our own personalities, I knew that if I owned a home, it was going to bind me and make me commit to where I was. And I also wanted the stability of being in a home, because I knew that I needed to make money. And it can be difficult, at least for me, to focus on making money and being unstable in my home. And I found a home that I loved. And so in this case, we bought. It was a very different scenario. So as far as was it expensive? If you plan on buying a property, it's going to cost you way more. If you're planning on moving and you have a remote work job, or you want to rent long term, I would say you want to be around 15,000 to 20,000, and then have a small income if you can. Do you have to live there to buy the land? You don't have to be a resident to buy land. You don't. You don't have to be a citizen to buy land. You can actually come here, buy land, buy an apartment, buy a house, buy anything you want on a tourist visa for Costa Rica. You can open a bank account also on a tourist visa for Costa Rica. Each country is different. If you have questions about other countries, then you should probably schedule a consult with me. I am new. I'm so tired of the U.S. Always dreamed of living somewhere on a beach. You can do it. You can do it. Full stop. The question is, when are you ready? Do you have a budget? What is your lifestyle needs? Where are you in the process? How serious are you? Are you ready? Because if you're ready, you can. I also, since I do have so many new people, I want to say this. It's really, really important to me that you know that I am not encouraging us to flee from our history, because you can't. I am doing this as a part of my activism, because I believe that we all have the right, as I said, to express our autonomy and build our communities together. No, you're going to make me cry, because I feel this so intensely, and I want you to understand how serious this is, because it is serious. This is your life. This is our lives collectively, and you don't have to continue living in a way that you're not happy. You don't. Maybe you can make the change right now. Maybe it'll be in a little while. But if we're on it and we're focused and we create a plan and you're serious about implementing it, you got me. That's what I'm showing up for. Hi, Marie. What's the best approach for beginning to decolonize your mind so that you can better prepare yourself for the big move? Seriously, the best approach, like you did, You started with your spirit work. You took into account who you were. You have to have knowledge of yourself, first and foremost. And then commit. If you have decided that you're going to leave, hold that. You're not obligated to tell people who are going to try to deter you, who are going to undermine your reasoning, who are going to make you doubt yourself. You do not have to expose yourself to that. You don't. You need to be clear in your own mind first, but you need to know who you are first before anything. Your spirit doesn't feel at peace. Yeah. You know, I get it. Trust me, I do. So 21-year-old me, a single mom. Yeah, I wasn't married yet. Single mom with a little boy. I was 19 when I had him. And I decided I did not want to live in the States anymore. I didn't want to expose him. I was terrified. You know, I didn't grow up in the best part of town. If you're from Cali or you're familiar with Cali, I'm from Slauson and Crenshaw. And that's where I'm from. And I did not want that life for myself. But I also knew that I didn't have any money. I didn't know anybody that lived abroad. Everybody that when I would go on these like Facebook groups and read, you know, expat posts, it was old white men mostly, or retired people who had fixed income. No one ever talked about business. If they talked about starting a business, it was just because they were bored and wanted something to do. So I knew that my position was very unique and it was different. And I had to come up with a plan. All you need is a plan, commitment, and discipline, and you can do it. If you can get other people who are on the same page as you, even better. Even better. And I'm hoping that you guys are noticing who's in the comments, and you can connect and follow each other, and we can talk. How's the dating scene there? You know what? I'll say this because I'm not single. So my experience here is different. When I went to Brazil, I started out married and then I ended up single, got in a whole relationship and then, you know, left. So I've, you know, the culture I'll speak to, because this is what really is like at the root of what I'm going to say. The culture itself is mild. What do I mean by mild? People here don't want smoke and they're not very aggressive in any way. And if I do get hit on, because I do, but it's rare, I get looks more than anyone says anything. They did just pass marriage equality laws. Hi, Kine. They did just pass marriage equality laws. There are communities and sections and areas of the city of San Jose, especially Escalante. You can look, actually, you can Google search Escalante, 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 San Jose. There's a student community, an arts community, and a very strong and prevalent LGBTQ community in that area. And my personal lawyer and one of my friends is a gay man. But he's also from here. So I haven't heard of there being any issues or difficulties around that. But as far as dating, I don't know what your preferences are per se. I've had people say, well, you know, I want to wear other black people. I'm inviting other black people. There are black people on the Caribbean side primarily in Limon. But the infrastructure over there is not that good, and that's why I'm not living there. And there's a whole other story about that. But there are black people here. We are definitely not in the majority. I'm not going to kid you on that. Brazil was all black, but the infrastructure in the north was not good. So you're from New York, but living in Dallas for 7 months. Yes, are there black men that want black women there? Are there black men that want... You know, I am married to a black man. My first husband was a black man. I've always, when I got into a relationship in Brazil, it was with a black man. And in Brazil, dark skin, thank you. I'm enjoying it straight for now, until I get tired of it, and then it'll be back. I didn't expect to meet any black men who were interested in me when I was in Brazil, even though it's primarily black, because dark-skinned people especially don't date each other. You're really encouraged to, you know, date white or light. I think it's really, you saw my post in the shade room? I never posted in the shade room, but I'm glad someone did. Hi, Keisha Visha. It has to do a lot with your preferences. Those that will be coming and joining the community, my hope is to create more infrastructure for us to all get to know each other. And there are definitely Black men that, have hollered that are from the Lemonian side, but I haven't been in a position where I was dating. So, you just saw my post. Hi, Freedom to Be. How is the billing? Billing. What do you mean? You mean like utilities and things like that? You actually pay your utility bills at the grocery store. There's not a lot of like online pay for anything here. So when I need to go pay my electric bill or my water bill, I just take the utility number. It's not in my name. That's another thing. Whoever set up the utilities, like if you're renting or even if you buy, the name of the utilities usually stays in the name of the former owner. There's no need to transfer it over. The system's very different. The credit system's very different, all of that. Hello, Mel. Hi, Anna. Hi, Isis. Fantasy Lights, I hope that answered your question. If I didn't understand it, then just write it a different way and I'll try to address it. But no, there's not like online pay for stuff. There just isn't. And a lot of things you have to go to the bank and stand in line and pay for. But that's when you get into like the details of things. A lot of I had to go through some bureaucracy to get my car back after it was impounded. I had a retail business. Here we had an ice cream retail location because we make ice cream as well. Oh, good. So I did understand it. Okay. Glad. So I've had employees and I've dealt with being sued and I've dealt with all of that stuff. So when I tell you guys that I've been through it, I wouldn't feel comfortable speaking to you with authority as a relocation specialist because I can remove you to anywhere in the world because I've figured out like how to do it. Do I have a booklet? I am in the process of finishing up my course. It's going to be an online course and there will be a guide as well. So that there are some people that just do better if you give them the step-by-step, they can implement it. But some people are better, having conversation and kind of working it out. So that's why I'm trying to offer more than one way to help. Are there any parts of Costa Rica that I don't recommend living in as an expat? Do you mean regarding safety? How is COVID? As of right now, I believe there's been 12 deaths. 12, maybe 13 deaths, and a little over 1,500 cases as of right now. You don't have to wear a face mask to go to the grocery store. You do have to wear a face mask if you want to go to church. They put lines on the concrete to enter the grocery store because they're trying to keep a certain amount of capacity down. We haven't really been that affected by it, to be completely honest. It's definitely affecting businesses a lot. We have acres and acres of land, so I can go outside and take a walk and stay on my property. My neighbors are all farmers as well. Nobody's wearing a mask. It hasn't been aggressively enforced either. So parts of Costa Rica that I wouldn't recommend. Oh, please get your kids' passports. Please. Parts of Costa Rica I don't recommend. There's not so great areas in any place, but like if you're from the States, you can pretty much suss out where that is. Violence is not like a thing. Violence isn't like an issue. If Costa Rica is on your list, like I said, look at that 50 to 100 years of history. Costa Rica doesn't even have a military. They do have a police force. There is some drug trade, mostly on the Caribbean side, and there is some in the city. Where I live, you don't really see it like that. It's not prevalent like that. And but there are areas that you shouldn't. If you wanted to talk to me about it, DM me, or we can do a relocation setup to kind of go through where you're looking at. I'm in the mountains of Escazú. Our community that we're building is here on the acreage in Escazú in the mountains. We have a beautiful view. I'm going to see if you can see it. Can you see? That's the view from my dining room table. There's also a community being built. A black woman from Los Angeles as well is building a community. I'm getting all of the details on that ironed out, and it's about 45 minutes away from me. But there's rental options and all kinds of stuff. Cinemonster, hi. Wait, Sea Monster, sorry. How much money would you say you would need to move and be comfortable? You want to know that you will have at least $1,200 to $1,300 a month to move to most countries for 1 to 2 people. If it's 3 people or more, if you have 2,000 or more, you'll be good in most countries. That's general. I always say you got to follow those steps, and we need to talk about where you're looking at before we can build a budget. So I hope that gives you framework. Jobs. When you're thinking about immigrating or becoming an immigrant in any country, do not assume that you'll be able to get work. The remote work positions that I have, they're through referral. There will be more. I'm working on more options, but it's not something that you should assume to be available. You want to assume that you will need to figure out your own niche or work remote, or network with others who will be able to employ you. Yes to the course. Yes, the course is in the process. It's actually in pre-sale at $450, and I'll send you $450, and I'll send you a planner as well to get you going, because you got to be organized. If you want to buy, you could. Okay, so financing. I'm glad you brought that up. And are you new? Because I don't think I've seen you before. Kicks and giggles. That's adorable. Financing. Normally, no. So in order to have access to the credit system here, you would have to be a resident or in the process of residency or own a business that's been in operation for more than 2 years. However, if you're talking about buying property and you wanted to negotiate directly with the owner, you can finance your property. That would be something that I would highly recommend you allowing me or someone else that you really trust to organize. But you can get direct financing from the owner. Absolutely. Especially now. You can do it. I've done it. Safety and general environment, girl, I'm not worried. I'm from LA. Even in the areas that they would consider dangerous here really aren't anything to me. So like if you're from the Midwest or something and then you go live in any big city, then maybe you might feel pressed, but I've never felt in danger. Interest rates and taxes. Interest rates, if you get owner financing on a property, so interest rates in general for local people through the bank start at 12 to 15%. They're not low. I've been able to negotiate 6 and 8% for different financing projects. We will be financing here in our development at 6%. Taxes are not low. What are the first steps? I have in my biome, there's a little circle, it's green, and it says first steps, but I will run over them really quickly. First thing you're going to do, pick 4 countries that you are just naturally, for whatever reason, attracted to. Don't ask yourself why. That is your intuition. We want to get in touch with our intuition and see where our spirit and where our heart wants to go. Second step, you're going to write your lifestyle needs list. It's everything that you want in your right as a divine creator to build in the new life that you want. That's number 2. It might take you a week or 2 because it needs to have everything. Number 3, you're going to do 50 to 100 years of historical research. I mean, become an expert on the GDP, on how the country handles natural disasters, on when the last time they had the Civil War was, on how they get their money, what their major exports and imports are, what the minimum wage is, where the consulate's located, how many universities are there, all of it. You will become an expert on those 4 countries. Then step 4 is you're going to compare those 4 countries with your lifestyle needs list. And then after that, it's details. That's where you're going to start. And if you need help, you can always reach out to me. Is it difficult to find cannabis? It won't be soon. That was my husband's actual career before we left LA. He was a cannabis cultivator for like the last 20 years. Other than that, yeah, it is kind of, and it's a little expensive, unfortunately. I don't partake, but I know a lot of people that do. You're not sure if I've stated it in the past, but do you have to have? It's a free, Cocalicious, it's a very common question. Don't feel anything about that. Like, it's fine that you asked about that. Hi, Janine Pretty. Nice to see you. I answered about the weed. What do I know about Gambia? Oh yeah, dual citizenship. So the question, you guys, when we're talking about leaving the U.S., is not a question of citizenship. It is a question of residency. Citizenship means that you are participating in the civic duties of that country. You can vote, all of that. Residency means that you have permission to live in the place. You do not have to renounce your American citizenship to obtain residency. And I've never heard of you needing to do that. I hope that answers your question. Can I explain the Angeles Vista interview? Yeah, so the Angeles Vista interview is listed because it is our interview process for those that are expressing real interest in joining our community here. You will be our neighbor. We will be co-farming together because we have land and we've planted some of it and we can plant more. The new build, the focus is on sustainability. The focus is on all the new builds to have solar. We want to have our own water. We have a little over 40,000 gallons in an underground storage, and we're going to be preparing for rainwater catch. So the intent of this community is to eventually become 100% self-sustained. Did I post the remote positions? I did not post it. Currently, I'm listing it on the Patreon. Because this is referral. And so anybody that I refer, I need to kind of be certain of how serious you are and your commitment, because I don't want other opportunities to be shut down because of a not so great interaction. So I will be posting all of the remote positions through the Patreon. I think the lowest level is like $3, and it's just to help support all of the work that we're over here doing. We do all of our farming. We are trying to make as many opportunities available to as many people as possible. So I really appreciate the support, you guys. And we do our weekly meetings as well in our book club on the Patreon. Did I miss anything? Did I miss any other questions? Oh, benefits for veterans. Not that I'm directly aware of that Costa Rica would allow or give you any veterans benefits, but you could possibly use your veterans benefits as a way to access a visa if you were looking for a residency visa. So getting into visas just briefly, you can come to Costa Rica for 3 months without a visa, meaning you don't have to go to the consulate and request and pay for a visa and wait for one. You can come in on a tourist visa if you are an American or Canadian passport holder. I also believe that applies to Europeans as well. You can just come and stay for 90 days, no questions asked. You leave for a day, you come back in, you can come stay for 90 days or more, because they tend to be very, very lax on their enforcement of those rules. Is there talk currently of Costa Rica shutting out Americans due to COVID? Currently, COVID is affecting a lot of things for a lot of people. Costa Rica hasn't opened its borders up to anybody as of yet. They're discussing doing it August 1st, and we'll know what countries they're going to allow in at that point. We don't know yet, but currently they're not accepting tourists until August 1st. Is the weather warm all year? Yeah, pretty much. It's rainy season right now, and it's still warm. It's just warm and it rains. So the humidity is a little bit higher. Costa Rica is beautiful and amazing. One of the reasons is because it has all these microclimates. And so one of the microclimates, the one that we're in, we're up in the mountains, and so it's cooler. And I love it. I love it. I love it. There's other areas that are a lot drier. You know, you pick your climate. That's part of the evaluation process when you're thinking about where to come. Oh, no problem at all, Farrell. And I'm going to be setting up and like trying to talk to you and the wife about what you're doing, because this is what we got to do. We got to work together. Everybody has their role. This might sound silly, but is there braiders in Costa Rica? I think so. I've seen a few. But if that's something that you do, you can. Getting the imports and getting hair and things like that, there's only a couple of places that you can get like black hair care stuff. Frankly, I bought like 8 bottles of Camille Rose curl maker when I came. And all my hair straightening stuff, I brought it when I came. What's the climate in the area where black people are? It's tropical. It's on the Caribbean side. It's very hot. It's very humid. There's a lot of mosquitoes. It's part of the reason why I'm not there. It's just, I can't do it. Where I am, there's hardly any mosquitoes, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. What's the exchange rate? Right now, $1 is worth about 565 colones. It fluctuates between 550, 580, but it hasn't been 580 in a while. Working as a creative, well, if you're used to working as a creative, then you understand the necessity of like creating your niche. And that's something that you can start now. If you're an artist or you're a creative and you have a product or something that you can do that, over the internet, then it doesn't matter where you are, you just need internet. But that needs to go on your lifestyle needs list so that you can evaluate where you can go based on what it is that you need. Oh, a photographer. Yeah, actually, when I was looking for photographers a couple years ago, I found several that were actually American or European that were doing pretty well. So, you got to find your niche. You got to work it and set things up in advance. That is definitely something that I would suggest. I want to make sure I didn't miss any. I discussed exchange rate. Braiders. I used to braid hair. That was actually my first job.
Hello.
Benefits for veterans. I hope I updated. I hope I answered all of the things. If there's any more questions, feel free to let me know. I'm going to leave this up for probably the rest of the day or a couple of days. But yeah, and if you DM me, once I get off, I'll check everything. But if you want to see what all it is that we have to offer and the ways that, we can help, just go to the book now and it'll show you all the options. Oh yeah, I shipped a whole container. I shipped a 40-foot container full of furniture and clothes. And it was an ordeal, but I got all of my stuff. Internet service and cell phone plans. Really good question. I feel like you're new. If you're new, say, hey, I'm new. We have good internet. We pay a lot for our internet because of where we live. We're in the mountains and there wasn't a lot of options. We're currently in the process of switching out, but I'm on my Wi-Fi right now. My husband is on his. We're all, we use our devices all day and we don't have any issue. You can get a chip. Oh, you didn't see it. It's right under like the picture and it says Global Black Girl and there's a little box that says book now. If you go to the website, you can hit any of the book now and it will show you on my appointee all of my offerings. If you buy property and come back to the U.S., is it easy to rent out? It depends on where you buy it. And Body Party, I would love for you to come as an English-speaking yoga instructor. That would be awesome. And you would have a lot of other people that would love to do it as well. You can do your yoga classes here on my property. It's actually something that I wanted to offer, Pilates and yoga, to the community. So, yeah. Are snakes a problem? That's cute. A problem? We live in nature. And there's all kinds of nature. There's animals and all kinds of stuff. We got birds. We do have snakes. I haven't seen any that were poisonous. We did see a huge constrictor, though, on our property. So that was cool. Mostly worried about paying for life. I get it. You work directly with people. I understand. My career has always been one-on-one. And so the idea of trying to figure out another way was difficult, and finding remote work was kind of difficult. Oh, I'm getting timed out. I'll save this, you guys. If you have any more questions, DM me. I'm going to put, when you look on my on my profile, you should see, it should say book now. Does it say so, Pi? It does. Yeah. So hit the book now and it'll show all the options. If you still have any trouble, just send me a DM and we'll talk about it. We'll get you set up. Thank you guys.